Hi everyone, welcome to today's art stream. Forgive me a moment there, it took me a while to get my microphone set up correctly. As you can see, already kind of made a start on today's piece. A little bit different to normal. Today I am working on a pure portrait piece rather than it being like a half body or full body character design. And yeah, also adding a bit of a coloured background as well to kind of experiment with that. So trying a few new things today. Adjust these a bit. Okay. But yeah, we're just gonna kind of crack straight on with this. As you can see, I'm currently working on the highlights layer for the face, just to kind of add some nice lighting there, which I'm kind of in the process of smoothing out and blending in at the moment. So we're just kind of gonna carry on with that. Apologies if there is a very minute possibility I might have to dash for a phone call that has still not come. But if I do, you know, something in the world, as usual, I'll be streaming again on Friday. So for now, let's just crack on with this. So yeah, as you can see, it's kind of blending here. Kind of working around the eye area right now, trying to get this nice and blended in. I usually keep my highlights on a separate layer when I'm kind of not finished with them yet, just so if anything goes wrong, I don't delete the paintwork I've already been doing. And then just adding a little bit along the rim of that lower eyelid. Oh, thank you so much, Cyber Spectre. Yeah, the hair's going to be a lot of fun to render on this one. We'll see how much we get done today. Obviously, we started a little bit later, so this stream's probably going to be a little bit shorter than normal. But yeah, we'll just see how much we get done. We're already quite a good way in. And we've got these lighter bits up here that we need to just blend those in nicely. Thank you so much to Creepery for following. I hope you enjoyed today's stream. And also to Platypus Jace, which I believe I missed earlier. Thank you very much too. Alright, we need to do a little bit on the chin. Get that looking nice and rounded rather than flat. We don't want the cheek to come across flat. Alright, yeah, that's coming along quite nice. I think the next thing to do is the nose, then we can look at the shadows around there. So actually I might just blend in a teensy bit here first. Like so. Nice. Okay. So yeah, we will make a new layer. Or first of all, yeah, we'll merge this layer down onto our base paint layer. If you want to kind of see what it looks like without the line art at the moment, there you go. We're going to make another layer, also clipped to that one, so we don't paint outside of what we've already done. And get started with the nose. Try to pick a good starting colour. We want to be ever so slightly warmer than the surroundings. So this will do for now. Whoops, Photoshop's just catching up with me there. Thank you so much to Dungeon Scribe for following. Welcome to the stream, and I hope you find it enjoyable. Oh, Photoshop is once again lagging. Goodness gracious me, it's getting worse. Thank you so much, Silver Jungles. It was so much fun to work on your good orc boy. I had so much fun painting them. Lovely way to start a week. Don't know why, but as soon as I start streaming is when my stomach starts rumbling really loudly. It just seems to know that streaming means it's nearly dinner time, which is not great. Alright, so we have the basic area of the nose down. I'm just going to grab my reference image so I know what I'm doing. Right, okay. Just gonna do a little bit of shading and blending around here because we're gonna have a bit of light coming up the side here, but not too much. We don't want it to be too heavy. Alright, so with that done, we can now start to add the proper dark shadows around the bottom of the nose. So to start with, we're going to take this nice dark purpley brown that we've got a few other places in the image. It's best not to introduce too many new colours when you get to this stage. If it's possible, you want to be sampling from elsewhere on the image where you've already established your colours. It helps kind of the piece look more cohesive overall if you're sampling from other areas rather than kind of creating new colours constantly. Oh, he was adorable. I enjoyed painting him so much. Alright, as you can see, this is very dark right now, so what we're going to do is go slightly lighter brown and just start softening this shadowed area. It's also paying attention to where our shadows are, as the nose is kind of casting a shadow going in this direction, so we want to make sure that's coming across. Like so. Oh, don't worry, we will secretly simp for our own characters. Right, now we can add some more of these dark shadows back in. It's constant kind of give and take with this painting style, really. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to mark in the side of the nostril. So this comes up around here, roughly. And then with a much bigger brush, we really softly are going to work in the shadows caused by the side of the nostril there. Keeping it nice and soft. Alright, yeah, so now we've kind of got that nice soft shape coming in. We can add some light. So, eyedropping from the base tone elsewhere on the face. And we'll go down to a smaller brush. Hey, Lizef, welcome to today's stream. Lovely to have you here, as always. And then we're just going to pop in the diamond at the tip of the nose there to start establishing where the light is hitting. And this is basically like our base kind of anchor point almost for the rest of the nose. Oh, my stomach is rumbling quite horrifically. Oh, looking forward to dinner. And from there, we can start to add light to the rest of this nose. So with a larger brush to keep it nice and soft, I'm going to draw a little bit of light down the side. I'm just going to take a slightly lighter tone. Like so. And then we're going to do the same thing starting at the bridge. And now we're going to go back to that nice light colour and a slightly smaller brush for this. Yes, this character belongs to a commissioner. I'm not sure what their name is actually. They might pop into chat later, so they can tell you a bit more about the character then. But I do believe they were slightly inspired by Avantika from Critical Role. So I'm just going to paint a stripe going right down the lengths of the nose, like so, which adds a nice bit of definition there. And from that, we can then blend in a little bit. I'm going to move over because this part of my tablet is actually cleaner, so it's easy to see what I'm doing. Alright, now we've got that, we can grab an even lighter tone. Thank you so much to Killjoy 290 and White Viper 98 and Nyanja Yoyo for following. Thank you so much, everyone. So just going to add a bit more light on the bridge there, coming down. And then a bit more again, just here, right on the tip of the nose. Which we do want to blend in a little bit on this side. Lovely. Okay, so what we're then going to do is taking this slightly desaturated kind of backlight tone, we're going to add a little bit of light just coming underneath that nostril, coming around. Whoops. And what we're going to do now is make a new layer above the line art. Those of you familiar with my process will kind of know what this is. This is to help tone down where the line art's a bit too heavy. And so we'll now just get stuck into drawing right on top of our line art to tone it down a wee bit. And then a nice really dark tone for the inner areas of the nostril and such. And then of course there'll be a little, it'll be quite dark here, just under the, where the nostril curls over there. Alright, so yeah, there we have a nice little nose. Just a tiny bit more blending here and there, and that will be all done. Alright, and that's where we save, because we save regularly. Oh, gnolls are underrated. I really enjoy gnolls. There's a really cool bit involving gnolls in the new Realm of the Frost Maiden book, which I'm very excited to run for my players. Okay, so after the nose, I tend to move down the face towards the lips. Oops, right, there's a big smear on my glasses, which is not going to help anybody. There we go. Okay, back to it. Lovely. Okay, so lips. You kind of see. There we go. There's the overlines there. Mind you, we also do need a really nice bit of shadow, just to come here. Yeah, nice bit underneath there. Fantastic, so I think that is where we will move on to the lips. So we'll go back to that layer we were using for the nose originally. And start on those lips. Ugh, I tell you what, trying to combine glasses and on-ear earphones is an absolute nightmare sometimes. Right. Lips. I haven't actually pre-prepared colours for this. This might be interesting. We're gonna wing it. We are going to start with a nice dark pinky red for the upper lip. And move this over to this side a bit. Okay, and then make a new layer for the lower lip, which will be slightly lighter. Okay, so now we have the lips blocked in, we can start shading them. So we're starting with the top lip. We are going to take a dark tone than the one we started with and use that to shade starting from the edges. It doesn't matter too much if we go over the bottom lip because we'll be adding more to that very soon. And this is how we start to build the shape in the lips here, as you can kind of see coming together. And thank you so much, D Cabbage Farm and Creed Kruger 2 for following. Alright, now let's add a bit of structure to the bottom lip. What we're going to do is we'll start with the base tone of the upper lip, since that's already darker than the bottom. We might do. Actually, we're gonna do this on top lip there. Why not? Start by just shading that line in there. Slightly bigger brush. And adding the shadow to the sides. Again, we can always neaten these up as we go along. Alright, lovely. Okay, now let's get even darker on that top lip. Just to really emphasize where the shadows are. And then we can do the same on the bottom. Like so. And now I think it's about time we start adding highlights. So taking the lighter tone from the bottom lip, we're just going to add that in areas the top lip where it's going to be hitting a tiny bit more light. And it gives the lip some nice shape. And then we'll do the same on the bottom lip, except we're choosing a lighter colour from the get-go. And we're actually going to start with a really nice big brush. Get that nice, soft kind of pillowy look. Much like the rest of the skin of the face, it's just a lot of blending and repeating kind of over and over when it comes to lips and basically any facial feature. Alright. And then last step, I'm actually going to do this on the overlines layer. Where's it gone? Huh? Wait. I really confusingly called the overlines there line art. My goodness, I was confused. Right, anyway, as I was saying, thank you so much, Super Mystier, for following. Let's put in these nice bold highlights. Okay, and now what we can do is we can once again minimize some of these really heavy lines. So I think a 9 will actually do fine for what we want. Just going to draw right on top of our line art, just to bring it down a wee bit. Hi, Orange Juice God, welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for joining us. Right, we can also minimize that bottom lip, which is actually going to be quite a bit more subtle than it is at the moment. Okay. And then I'm just going to use this opportunity to add a little bit more shadow below the lip itself. Alright, and then going back up to the layer we were just using, adding that little bit of extra shadow around the corner here. Okay, now that's done, we can use this opportunity to add a bit more light around the lips themselves. And save again, because you must always make sure you keep saving. Okay, next thing's next. I think we want to work on the eyes. So first thing I'm going to do, merge down both of these because they're done. We're happy with those. And just see what it looks like without the line art. There you go. And yeah, we'll start on the eyes. So we're basically going to work with what we've already got going here. Just start neatening it up, blending areas, adding darker patches, and generally making them look all nice. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to make a darker colour. And just start shading around those corners. And then, as always, blending back in. And then taking that nice dark colour we've got to the other side and doing the same there. It's quite useful to use this to contrast against the kind of minor side lighting that we've got going. And as always, making sure that that lighting is all blended in and looking nice. Like so. I'm going to take some of that extreme light that we've got going. I'm actually going to do some overlines there. Add that in there because you tend to get quite a nice bright light there in that corner. I'm just looking at my reference. Minimize the line art on this side a little bit. Okay, so now that's done. What I'm going to do is we're going to just emphasize the edges of the eyes and eyelashes a little bit. In fact, I'm almost tempted to take my little fluff brush just to add some nice extra little lashes there. Since this is a rather fabulous lady. Pretty good for lashes, that brush. Okay, so, next thing to do, let's go back to my other brush. 12 will be fine for now. We want to add a little bit of highlight to the upper eyelid. Nice, now they really pop. And now we can start thinking about adding the eyeballs in a minute. First things first, I do just want to do these kind of little cornery bits. Oops, but not on this layer. Okay. Let's just shade those. Add a little highlight spot. And we're ready to move on to the eyeballs themselves. Thank you so much for subbing, Stu, and welcome back. I'm so pleased you're feeling a little bit better now. At least I hope you're feeling a bit better now. I know it's been pretty rough. Right, let's make some eyes. Oh, my nose is really itchy. Gross. Need to double check actually what colour this character's eyes actually are. I think she has, yeah, she's got like golden, almost cat-like eyes, which would be quite fun. Right, so to start off with, we are going to select a nice dark purpley grey and just fill in the entire area of the eye with that. Thank you so much, Tyler Jacob, for following. I hope you enjoyed the stream. Alright, with that creepy purple hue filled in, we're going to make sure that is alpha locked. And we're going to start highlighting. So with a nice large brush, it's going to start gently adding some light to the whites of the eye. And then we're going to move up through the gradient a little bit. And go down to a smaller brush as we get to this part for the very lightest bit of the eye. Okay, that'll do. Now to just blend it in. That one's pretty blended. It's this one that's a bit messy. And then same on the other side, make sure we're adding back that shadow. Okay, so we're going to make another layer above that, make sure it's clipped down. And we're going to start painting in the eye itself. So we'll start with a nice rich orange to be our starting point, and then we're going to move towards gold from there. Fantastic. And then what we're going to do Making sure once again we are alpha locked. Add a little bit of a gradient just to start us off. And then the next thing we're going to do is jump back up to our favorite overlines layer. Select a color that's almost black and go down to a small brush. I start by doing a very gentle, almost black outline of the edges of the eye. And then, bear in mind, this lady has slightly kind of animalistic pupils. Just gently pop in the pupil. Nice. Okay, and now we've got the rough shapes marked in. Go down to a smaller brush, tidy those up. And then adding some shadow coming down from the top of the eye when Photoshop catches up with me. So starting small to neat, oops, not that small. To neaten up what we've already drawn. And then going a bit larger to add in a fairly gentle gradient. Like so. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is work up towards that lovely gold that we want. Thank you so much to Drentsoft for following. Making sure we are starting from the correct place. We're gradually going to work our way through orange and towards gold. Thank you so much, Black Katana Art, for following. Wow, really ranking up those follows today. Thank you so much, everyone. Alright, and now once again we will want to just blend in a bit here and there. Make sure the change in colour isn't too sudden. Going down to a smaller brush as we go. And remembering that the left hand's going to be slightly lighter because that's where more of our light source is coming from. Sometimes it's fun just to kind of play around with the colours a bit. Like so. Yeah, I quite like that effect actually. Alright, we have some nice bright eyes. Lovely. what we're going to do now is make a new layer. I'm going to call it Shinies, for those very brightest points of light. Get a nice, really light, almost turquoise colour. And just add a final bit of light to the side of these eyes. There we go. Now what we can also do is, you know, I always experiment when I'm painting eyes because it's fun. Let's go for a big brush. We can try what adding a bit of side light on that side does, which I kind of quite like, but I don't want it to be that harsh, you know. And then, after the eyes are in a good place, actually the other thing I can experiment with a little bit. I'm gonna bring down that a little bit. Bit more contrast, always good. What I'm gonna do next is eyebrows. Now, this lady has mostly blonde hair, but dark eyebrows, so let's get started with those. Oops, that was a little bit much. Thank you so much, NerdyPunk93 for following. Alright, there's some brows. Now let's shade them a bit. Drop to a slightly smaller brush. There we go. Alright, so next I am going to be shading around the ear and the neckline before we get started on the hair. So the first thing I do when shading ears is pick out the really dark kind of internal part with a nice dark colour. Thank you so much to KillerGame7575 and also Melnibonate for following. So many followers today, thank you all so much. Alright, then we're going to draw the shadow up and towards the edge of the ear, like so. And while we're doing that, we're just going to colour pick from a shadow elsewhere to get a slightly lighter shadow, as this is going to gradually kind of become lighter as it hits the edge of the ear. Can I explain alpha lock? Of course. Alpha lock is a very, very simple concept. As you can see, the layer that I've mostly been painting on, I've turned on this button up here, which looks like 5 squares kind of arranged next to each other. So that's currently locked. All it means is I can scribble like this, and the paint will only be applied in areas where I've already laid down paint in the first place. It's basically a way to stop you painting outside of your lines once you've already established the area for a particular kind of layer or colour. So it can save you a lot of time and means you can be a bit messier with your paint style, which I decidedly am. If you have any other questions, more than happy to answer. I like answering questions. Photoshop's just catching up. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little bit of the brighter skin tone to the tip of the ear there. And likewise, when Photoshop decides to play with me, just there. Yeah, we have an ear. So I think I might just shade her earring. I think it's plain black, so that should be a fairly simple job. Let's just save again. No problem from Kinder Faking. Always happy to answer any questions about painting process at all. Alright, so there's the ear. Let's carry on and work down the neck, shall we? And what we're going to start by doing is we're just going to draw this in-between tone all across the neck, because it will naturally be a bit more shaded than the face. Oh. Gosh, after shading for a while, your arm doesn't half start to ache. Okay. Whoops, falling off my chair a bit there. That's also not something you want to do. And the thing about painting the neck is because it's not on the face, you can afford to be a little bit more loose in your painting. Usually when it comes to portraits or character designs, the eyes are drawn towards the face of a character. So you can afford to not be quite so perfectionist when you are painting skin and other parts of the body. Unless, of course, you want to draw attention to other parts of the body in particular. I'm actually going to get rid of a couple of these lines. No, I don't really need them. And there's kind of a start of the rough kind of shape of how this is going to come together. Now I can start adding some lighter areas. Thank you so much for the sub gift, Lezef. Very, very, very kind. that in. And thank you so much to Jocelyn the Neutral Bard for following. Am I currently using Photoshop? Yes, I am using Photoshop. And yeah, basically Photoshop is pretty much the only program I use, more or less. I use it for like every step of the process, really. I've tried a few others. Procreate's nice. I personally don't get on amazingly well with the iPad, drawing on iPad. So I tend to use desktop with my Wacom. I'm just gonna remove a few more line art bits. Yeah, I mean, I find, whoops, wrong thing entirely. I find that Photoshop does everything I need it to. Really, I could do a small RAM in my computer to bounce it up a bit, because sometimes I do get quite a bit of lag, as you've seen. But I find the actual program itself is just right for what I'm doing. Oh, what am I listening to? Alright, let's pop this in chat. All my music is by an artist named Kai Engel. Really lovely music. It's all royalty free, and you can find it on the link that I've just popped in chat to the Free Music Archive. I believe it's also on Spotify, if you are a Spotify person. There is a shinies layer right up here. So far, it's only been used for the light on the eyes. But it is there. No worries. Yeah, so I've tried using Clip Studio Paint a few times. The main reason I don't really use it is it doesn't work wonderfully well with my tablet, my Wacom. I find that the resolution of the working area is just too small, with all the toolbars and stuff. And it's just not sharp as Photoshop, and I guess I paint in a very traditional fashion because that's how I learned to paint. And Photoshop kind of encourages that quite well. But I do try Clip Studio Paint now and again every once in a while just to see what new features they've added and stuff. Shiny Slayer, indeed. I love the Shiny Slayer as a thing now. That makes me very happy. Alright, let's just add some extreme shadows where we need them. We're actually going to do something over lines layer just to minimize the actual line art a bit. There we go. And I might just take a little bit of the side light. Pop it there. taking a while to catch up there. Okay, so I'm gonna save again. And let me think. What do I want to do next? I think the next natural thing to do is to block in the hair, or at least some of it. And that'll see us where we have to tidy up and anything else we need to fiddle with. And thank you so much to Cabbage Farm. Thank you. It's yeah, it's been a really fun. This character's a really fun kind of warm skin tone to paint, so it's been really nice. So I'm actually gonna do some naming of layers. We're gonna call that skin, and we're gonna call this one, unsurprisingly, hair. We're just gonna start blocking in the hair. Of course, this character has blonde hair, which is ever so slightly lighter than the tone of the skin. But for that, I tend to start with a mid-brown start off and get lighter from there. I find it easier to paint blonde hair that way. And we're going to do this hair in two parts. The braid and to the left, and then the other side. So to start off with, I just use a big brush to roughly whack down the base layer of hair fairly close to the edges. Shout out to layer organization. Yeah, so usually my layer organization isn't quite so good. When I'm streaming, I try to make it look better. And then we go in, zoom in with a smaller brush, and then just fill out these edges. Just gonna keep, whoops. You don't want to go outside the edges though. That would be bad. Alright, so from about there, and then in the other direction. Where does one begin to learn Photoshop? How did I start learning Photoshop? I find that often the easiest way, the hardest thing I found to learn Photoshop is how to do, and digital art in general actually, is how to do nice, smooth, clean lines. So don't worry about your work being neat to start with when you're starting with digital painting. The way I started was I would do traditional drawings, like ink drawings or pencil sketches or whatever. Then I would scan those, import them into Photoshop, and color them using Photoshop. Rather than doing the whole piece digitally, I would start traditional and then kind of do like a half and half. And then as time went on, I felt more comfortable with doing kind of my own line art and sketches in Photoshop. And then, yeah, it just kind of comes with time. I mean, I started learning Photoshop, yeah, Control-Z trigger fingers for sure. I started learning Photoshop when I was about, how old would I have been? About 15, 14? And that was a much earlier model of Photoshop, so it doesn't have anywhere near the capabilities of the current software anyway. But yeah, I basically would draw fan art of anime characters I liked with pencil and ink, and then scan those and pop them into Photoshop to color them. I have an awful DeviantArt account out there which will remain forever hidden, which has my very early attempts at digital art on. Nope, no one gets to see. There's too much cringy art on there. It's all secrets. Forbidden link. Okay, so now that side's done, let's make another layer for the next bit of hair. Call that hair too. No, what does that even say? That doesn't say hair. Nah, Stu's not allowed to share. I'll be cross if he does. He wouldn't risk my wrath. Thank you so much, Chartoxic and Avaxio, for following. I'm kind of annoyed I had to start earlier in the end because I never had that phone call, so I could have just started at normal time. But no. Alright, so that's that one, and then we'll make one more layer for the back piece of hair. And then I am actually starving, so at that point, we'll see. There we go. I need that that gif of Frodo when he says to Gandalf, "All right then, keep your secrets." How was last week's Garfield feast? Oh, wow, you've got a good memory. Yes, I did make lasagna last week, and it turned out really well. I was a heathen, and I added chipolatas to the meat sauce because I didn't have any bacon. And actually, it was great. A wonderful addition and discovery that I will use forevermore in my lasagnas. Alright, we're almost there. When Photoshop decides to play with me. Alpha lock is a great trick. Yeah, I was so happy when I found out about it. There's a few more little things I'll show you with it before we finish today. Now that we've got that hair all patched in. The other thing I want to show you that's cool about Alpha Lock, in fact, let's get rid of we don't actually need the palette up there anymore, if you go to your line art layer, bear in mind that I always have my line art set to multiply. Reason being, it just gently darkens everything underneath. If it was normal, it would look like this. Something really cool you can do with the clipping, with the Alpha Lock, which I'm just going to put on there once again, is, let's pick like a pink and a nice big brush. If you just scribble over your lines, having done that, you can colour your line art in, which is really awesome if you're doing line pieces and you want a cool effect and you want to colour in your line art like that. I actually often recolor my line art at the end to a dark purple because I find that looks the most kind of natural. Often with hair it'll be a bit lighter, especially if the hair is fair like with this character. It helps the lines kind of blend into the hair a bit better. So that's kind of using an example where I've colored them in this kind of pinky color. But it's a really neat trick that can help you do a lot of cool things with your work and style and stuff. Okay, so I started a little bit later than normal, so it's going to be a slightly shorter stream than we're used to, because I think we've reached a really good point today, and I need to go and make some food. So I'm going to stick some links in chat. First of all, if you want to see this piece finished, I'm sorry, the Cabbage Farm. Oh, the file isn't actually called Ass, it's called Pirate Lass, but I can see that, yeah, it did look like it was just called Ass. But yeah, if you want to see this piece all finished, check out my Twitter page if you don't follow me already. It's where I post all my stream updates, as well as finished pieces and all of that kind of stuff. And thank you so much, Jetster77, for following. If you prefer to use Instagram, I also have an Instagram, where obviously it's much more just like the finished pieces. Occasionally I'll do costume design and miniature painting on there as well, so check that out. Thirdly, if you purely want to see my portfolio, please have a look at my ArtStation. That's where all my best pieces are arranged, and it's just basically all of my different styles and the art that I do. Have a little look at that. Last but certainly not least for me, Patreon. If you want to throw me a little bit of support and you would prefer not to subscribe on Twitch, I know not everyone does, do check out my Patreon. You can get a few neat exclusives on there. From sketches, works in progress, tutorials will also be on there, and yeah, basically it's just a really fantastic way to support the work I do and help me do it full time. Also, it gives you access to a special Discord, which as soon as you become a patron or subscribe on Twitch, you can access. Having quite a lot of fun on there. I've got like different channels for sharing your own art, so you can get feedback from other people and just only kind of share that kind of stuff. Oh, very lastly, anyone who doesn't yet know, I do now have a YouTube, let me just find the channel, where I will be uploading VODs after the streams so that you can catch up if you missed some of the stream, or you won't be able to watch one at some point. So check that out if you are at all interested in that. So I think that's everything. Thank you so much everyone for joining me today. It's been lovely to work with you all. I hope you have a fantastic week. I'll be streaming again on Friday at the same time. That's 5 PM UK time. So I will see you then, I suppose. Until then, stay safe, stay cozy, and I will speak to you all very soon. Bye-bye for now.